Hey everybody, we live. It's Kim Cook here, owner and CEO of All Living Things LLC, and we're here on the patio. And what I'm gonna do is add to my container garden here. So this is exciting. I started gardening through coronavirus, through the quarantine. So my business was based on indoor plants, succulents, palms and sphath, peace lilies, just decorating and doing indoor living decor. So never thought about gardening. My family, my grandfather, uncles, all are farmers. So, I guess it's in my blood, it's in my veins, but I never thought about gardening until coronavirus hit and we were quarantined and everybody's going crazy at the grocery store. So I was like, it's better just to start growing your own and be self-sustained. So I went to researching, went to learning, went to reading, went to watching videos. So um, now I create, other than succulent arrangements, I create container gardens. I can help you build a raised bed. I also build elevated planter boxes for folks in apartments or any small spaces, or if you have areas where you have a lot of pests, deer, rabbits, any kind of rodents, moles that may get into your crops. I can create an elevated planter box so you don't have to worry about those. But what we're going to do here is I went and bought a planter box. I didn't feel like drilling and sanding and painting, so I went ahead and got this planter box from the Home Depot, and I've been looking at it for a while, so I'm happy to get it. And it comes with drainage holes already, so I don't have to create those drainage holes, and we know we need drainage so the plants don't just swim in water constantly, because they need a good drainage flow to be successful. So what we have here, we have some supplies. We have our compost, our mulch, some soil, and our plants. And what I'm going to do, we have another tomato. It's called a Better Bush tomato. It's a hybrid, so it's not quite organic, so don't beat me for that. But I also have cucumber. One thing I did see from my previous container gardens is they're a little small, so my plants aren't able to thrive as though they need to. I have gotten some crops from them. I have been able to harvest, but not the way I want to. I got some tomatoes and some collard greens, some kale, a cucumber or two, but it's just not as big and full and green and lush as I want it to be. So I'm going to go larger, on a larger scale, to allow the roots to expand and have room to grow. Also, one thing I didn't do with my previous container gardens, I didn't use compost. It was just soil and some fertilizer, and then I used some water soluble fertilizer in the watering. So we're going to add the compost. That's something different, and that's just going to give it a little more organic filler for the plants, because the pots are not their natural habitat. So we're going to give it everything it needs or can get to succeed. So my first step is to add this mulch at the bottom, and that just give it a little bit of extra drainage, as well as hold in moisture. So on those hot days like it is now, the plants can suck up, the root system can suck up those the moisture particles from this mulch. Get hands in there, get that out. And we're going to save some for the top layer as well, because the top layer is going to hold the moisture in from the top. Okay, so we have our bottom layer of our planter. And now we got our compost. And it's just, you know, cow manure, some other organic bits. But this really helps the plants grow. It's all natural. It's you know, the cows eat nothing but grass or vegetation. So it's the best thing to use. And I'm just gonna put a nice level layer so the plants can have those nutrients to grab from the bottom. And we're going to get our soil in there. And this one I love. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining. Good morning. Gardening 101 with Kim. So I love this soil. It's Kellogg. I don't know if it's that family brand Kellogg. Got to research that and how I feel about that. But soil, raised bed soil. So it says it's organic plus. I may need to open up my other bag. Let's see. Maybe not. Perfect amount. Looks like the perfect amount. So we have our planter bed filled. From the bottom to the top, we have our layer of red mulch for moisture control and drainage. Then we have our compost, just for the organic matter and the fertilizing nutrients that's going to give. And then we have our soil, and that's full of, you know, dirt and wood chips. This is perlite, it's white peas. This is perlite, so that just spaces out the soil. It doesn't really do anything, it just gives space in the soil so it can, the airflow, to give good airflow through the soil. So it's looking real good. And then our final layer is going to be this organic granulated fertilizer. This Dr. Earth's organic fertilizer. I love it. I love it. I put that on everything, and it just helps. It helps everything grow. It's just awesome, and it has the. So this is for tomato, vegetable, and herbs. There's different kinds. They make fertilizer for fruit trees, nut trees, all depending on the pH level that your plants need. If it needs to be more alkaline or it needs to be more acidic. Citrus trees need to be more acidic, so they're going to have a higher content. This is a 463 for your NPK, for the nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium. Nitrogen, phosphate, and potassium, NPK. The mid-level for all is a 555, so this is a 463, so it's pretty well balanced. And just going to take a couple handfuls that, you know, equate to 4 or 5 teaspoons for this amount in these plants, because this tomato is what they call a heavy feeder. So it constantly needs nutrients to grow. Alright, so I'm gonna get this open. I'm struggling to get this open. Bear with me. What did I do this week? Can you get the bag open? There we go. Wish I could pause the live so I don't look foolish, but hey, got the bag open. So I'm gonna take a couple of handfuls right on top, and it smells just like the earth. If you don't like that smell, you know, you probably won't garden. But this is the fertilizer that I just put on top, and it's just full of goodness. You know, if you choose to buy it, you can definitely read all about it and see what it does for your plants. I'm just going to mix it into the top layer of the soil because we have that manure compost down at the bottom. So we just want to give it the best nutrients from the top to the bottom. And now we're going to start planting. We're going to dig our holes here, and I only got 2 plants because I don't want to crowd them. And I got a pretty big tomato right here that and the cucumber I'm going to need to get a trellis for. Well, I have bamboo. I have bamboo and this hemp jute, this hemp string. So the tomato looks gorgeous. And again, it is a hybrid. So it needs full sun, 6 hours. We're gonna, if they spacing 24 to 36 inches apart, I need to bury it 2/3 of the plant. So I'm gonna go a little deeper in planting to about these branches right here, because it's gonna grow so tall it could go a little deeper. And then it's gonna mature 68 days after planting. So what's that? 2 months? So 2 months, it'll be a mature plant, and I should be able to harvest from it and eat great tomatoes. I'm just gonna scoop it out. The roots are a little out there, overgrown, but we're gonna give it a new home. Get it down in there. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. But they do make gloves, and they do make soap. Get that down in there. Got my tomato in. Okay, now I'm going to move over to my cucumber. Alright. Put my steak here so I know what it is. And now I have, this is another straight 8 cucumber. I have one planted over here, but again, I didn't give it the best environment. So The cucumbers that it yielded weren't the best looking, and it's kind of scrawny now, so I just want to give it a fresh start with this one. So again, this is an Heirloom Straight 8. This also needs full sun, 6 hours. We're going to plant it container deep, and this is going to mature 50 to 75 days. So again, you know, 2.5 months, we'll get some good fruit from these plants. So I don't have to go so deep with this one. I'm just going to disturb the root system a little bit, just so it can know that it has now room to grow. I am going to have to open up some soil. Just to add a top layer so it's not too dense. Oh, you're gonna get a workout trying to be a gardener. Definitely. I just want to fill it in here. Looking good. Okay. So we have our plants in, and now we're going to cover it up with the mulch, again for the aesthetic, so it's not just dirt sitting on top. And then it also provides that moisture control, layer. So I'm kind of running out of ideas for gardening 101. So if anyone has any ideas, go ahead and drop them in the comments for me. Or if anyone wants to do a plant run with me, anytime we can do that. So anything that you have ever wanted to do with gardening, you know, I'm up for it. And gardening is not only fruits and vegetables. It's also your outdoor plants. And that I'm not too savvy on, so I would love to learn that. If anyone knows about, you know, marigolds and rose bushes, I would love to learn that. So we have our planter bed done, and the last step is to water it in. Water this plant in. Give it a fresh start so they could breathe, get some of the sunlight, and get some love. And they'll love me back when they give me my food. I'll bring the camera over so you can see. Clean it up a little. We're going to put our bamboo sticks down because these are vining. These are going to vine. The cucumber is going to vine. And the tomato is going to sprout up. And we don't want it to fall over. So we're going to hold the bamboo sticks here. And when they start to grow, I'll just tie this string around and loosely. So now I have my fertilized water, and we just want to add that to the soil part. I'm not going to water the leaves with this fertilizer because that's from a learning experience. My leaves did burn. One of my garden friends told me, she said she doesn't water her leaves with the fertilizer because it will burn, and I continued to do it and my leaves burned. I didn't know. So you live and you learn. But here is my planter bed. And we have our cucumber and our tomato. And we have our layers of mulch at the bottom. Then we have our compost. Then we have our soil. And then we have granulated fertilizer. And then we have our plants in. And we have a layer of mulch. So we try to give it a good environment for these plants to thrive. Again, you know, this is my already container garden. It's coming along. You know, I have collard greens and kale, my broccoli here. My squash hasn't really done too well. I had some squash out there, but worms got to it when I was ready to pick it. And my tomatoes, I had to cut that down. So that's hence why I got a new tomato plant, but trying to bring that back. It's got some new growth. My collards over here, and this is the cucumber. You know, got a little viney and leggy. So just want to give it a fresh start with this box here. I think it's going to do really well. So stay tuned for results, and thank you for joining me. I am Kim Cook, owner and CEO of All Living Things LLC. My website is www.alllivingthings.co. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at All Living Things LLC. And then you can see updates of old projects that I've done that I go back to visit here and there. And you can catch my live here, Facebook Live, on My Wellness Friends and I every Monday. Try to do it between 11 and 11:30, 30-minute program just to give you some tips and ideas on how you can fill your time during this quarantine if you're still at home, or you know, if the quarantine made you feel a certain kind of way. Gardening can definitely get you out your feelings and get you moving and get you doing something productive, and then you can see your work in the fruit that you yield, your harvest. So you reap what you sow, and it's harvest time. So that's all I can say. And speaking of harvest time, praise report, definitely I got a space. I got an office space. So I have a workshop. All Living Things has a workshop that, you know, I can now do my plant and sip. So that's an event that you can come, and you can come create your own succulent arrangements or any other kind of living arrangement. And, you know, we can sip on your favorite beverage, whether it be wine, a little liqueur, maybe some water, tea, smoothies. So just the chance to get out the house and do something fun that can it be team building, bonding for couples, just many things. So I'm excited for that new venture. I'll be putting info out Just got to get it decorated and everything. Put my little twist on it with the green and gold, and then we'll be ready to roll. All right. So thanks again, my wellness friends and I, for allowing me to use your live. And I'll see you guys again next Monday. Thanks.